this side. It's their country, honoring them, honoring Bede and the French flag. That's where they rest now. So Bede Irvin was a photographer with AP, and he was here in France covering for the Normandy campaign, right? So he was initially from Iowa, born in 1910, and he had already spent a few months back in 1943 in the UK covering for all the different operations, what was happening in Europe at the time. And he was part of the very first war reporters and photographers to land in Normandy to cover for the Normandy campaign. Come to visit the headstones of their family members here. So you can see that it's Holden. And it reminds us of the...
So this was an operation called Operation Cobra, and the goal was to break out of the beachhead. You know, the Allies had successfully landed on June 6th on D-Day, but they hadn't made it as far inland as they wanted. They were up against tough German resistance, and so they planned Operation Cobra as an effort to break out, get out of the beachhead, and really open up the campaign into maneuver warfare and penetrate deeply into France and break the German defenses. And so part of that was they planned a heavy bombing to open up a gap for the armored divisions to fight through.
Yeah, it was, I think it was about 400 casualties. And unfortunately, the weather was really overcast, lots of clouds, and the bombers at the beginning of Operation Cobra bombed their own troops, causing a lot of casualties on that day. And Bede Irvin, who was there to film the operations from the ground, as he was attached to the 9th US Air Force, was amongst the casualties, together with General McNair, who is buried here. McNair was also the observer of the operation and was killed in that same operation in a friendly fire. He was found by his colleague, Lee McCardle. He's the one who found him in a ditch, and with an arm still outstretched to reach his own camera, probably to take the last photo. Bede had time to take some photos of the beginning of Operation Cobra, and one of these photos is still visible today and tells us about the heavy bombing that took place. And this photo, this is quite incredible. This photo was intact and was developed. So Bede rests here now with us, and it's his wife's decision. Bede was married, and his wife at the end of the war decided that Bede would rest here amongst his brothers in arms. Bede was a civilian, and he had decided to live with the troops and report on their action, on their deeds, on their successes. And for her, it probably made sense that Bede would rest here. So it's been a long time since we were together in our own apartment. For you boys in London, it is different. You have seen Bede more recently than I. You have eaten with him, talked with him, been around him. And now that he's gone, it is hard in another way for all of you too. I know how heavy your hearts will be. I too have things to face.